Big up Spurs fans, near and far. We're back again, young and exciting with your boys, Deji Spurs, Zeus, Chris, and Sean in the building. Before we get into it, we are talking about the young and exciting signings. Sean has got the Bible there in the background. We are going to be unpicking what is Ange Postecoglou. Chris is going to give you the tactical analysis. Zeus is going to be breaking it down from the six so that you Spurs fans can rest assured that our club is heading in the right direction. I'm not going to lie. When I saw Archie Gray, my bum was absolutely frozen. It was still. There wasn't a single ounce of shaking. But I'm happy to say that I'm happy to be wrong about this. So we're going to get into it. But before we do that, want to check in with the boys, my bros. Starting with you, Chris. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, as well as can be, mate. And always a pleasure to be invited on this great stream with great company as well. So yeah, as well as can be.
Big up to you. Big up to you, Chris. It's so always good to see you, and I'm looking forward for us dissecting. Zeus, how are you, my bro? It's been a minute.
Yeah, can't complain. Enjoying the six, Toronto, and doing a whole lot of summer stuff and exploring the city, that kind of thing. So yeah, and also watching football. Canada's in the Copa America and they're doing pretty well. So that's been as well as the Euros. I've been keeping an eye on that as well.
And it's good because we're going to be talking about the Canadian striker tonight briefly and whether he's legit. Some murmurings are that maybe he's not as legit as we think he is. But, I haven't been able to catch any of the Copa America games. So we'll get into that briefly. And Sean, my guy, how are you?
I'm in good shape. I tell you, I am, unlike you, I've been twerking. Archie Gray has got me twerking. The boy is a generational talent, and we're going to see it in our club next season.
Well, at the end of the day, let's get into Archie Gray. Tottenham have made their first signing of the transfer window so far. Chelsea brought in Dewsbury Hall. We've brought in Archie Gray. I'm not going to lie. I'm never, ever really moved by championship players. I'm not saying Archie Gray is a championship player, but obviously he did well in the championship. And whether he can make the step to the Prem is something that we're going to see. However, he does look decent. There's a lot of questions being asked from my end, and Sean and Chris, I need you guys to dissect this. The first being that when the little footages I've seen of Archie Gray, he looks like a number 10, someone who can throw the ball. But then I'm hearing that he's played right wing back pretty much all season at Leeds. So, but when I'm seeing the kind of clips of him, I'm seeing him in very, very advanced positions. Sean, since you've been twerking for him like Beyonce, what is Archie Gray bringing to our club? And does he start? If he does start, where does he start?
Well, last season, he played a lot, as you say, a lot of right back. And that was because when we sent that dullard, Jed Spence, up there, proceeded to get himself injured, and they dragged this kid out of their academy and put him in the right back. I see him as the kick up the backside that Yves Bissouma needs. I think he's going to finish up being a 6. I think he's going to be a 6. Yeah, I think he is. I think he's good enough to be a 6, but he can play it. This is the thing. Ange doesn't want players who are just 6s or 8s or 10s. He wants them to be able to move about, and the flexibility this kid gives us is unreal. I mean, he played 40-odd games for Leeds last season.
Yeah,
and he's what, 17. Yeah, 17, so he just turned 18. You know what I mean? So I think we've actually managed to get ourselves a generational talent. It comes from a football family, like a storied football family. You know what I mean? Particularly with Leeds United. Going back to the grandfather, Eddie Gray, who was the manager twice, played in their 1970s teams, which were like, massive in Europe. His uncle and his father also played for Leeds. Leeds were heartbroken. It said in their statement when he left. This guy he's the real deal. And I'll tell you what clinched it for him. was our boy, our man, because the Greys are all Celtic fans.
Yeah, well, he said that, didn't he?
This is where he saw this man firsthand. And I can imagine Ange comes onto the Zoom, and there you are. You're from a family of Celtic fans, and you're just like, and he just talked and said, "I can see you doing this," and I'm so happy to see him.
I mean, it was refreshing to hear that, Ange Postecoglou was kind of the pull for Archie Gray, and I'm hearing that he's from a dynasty, he's from the lineage of footballers. I guess the question is, Chris, are you sharing the same sentiments as Sean? Is this a all-rounder? Maybe our answer to the six, that kind of thing. What are you saying? Because I know you like to get deep down and dirty with some of the analysis, so I want to hear from you.
Get into those weeds, Chris. Get into those weeds.
Yeah, I will, and I love getting into it because that's what I like. I like to talk about my truth, footballing truth. Obviously, there's always three truths: my truth, the opinion, and what's really going on. And I like to be more on the side of what's really going on, delve deep into it, and not just give a fan perspective based on hot air balloons. So, which is respectable, but I just prefer it that way. Listen, this guy is amazing. He's got spatial awareness. He tracks back. He plays. He can progress. He can tackle. He goes to the ground. He uses his body well. He's got a great first touch. He's got great passing ability. I think he's right-footed, but he can play with his left foot as well and can shoot from range from his left foot. His versatility, right? Playing, I think it was in all. I think Sean touched on that 40-something games, but I think he played more. I don't know whether it's 40 games as right back and 20-something in the mid because he was needed. But to be able to do that on a consistent basis at such a young age, in such a great historic team, regardless of whether it's a championship or not, that just goes to show exactly how mature and tenacious and I would say composed he is on the ball. And there's this stigma about but he's a championship player. Oh, he plays in League One. Oh, do you know what I mean? This kind of, if you're good enough, it doesn't matter where you played. It's and obviously to become a Spurs player, regardless of the Ange influence, because that's always going to be an influence, and that's always going to give you that impetus to sign for the club. He could go anywhere. I mean, I could see him at Man City playing under Pep. I could see him, playing under Jurgen for so many years. Maybe on a slot with his as a lesser manager in terms of legacy. I could see him playing with Nagelsmann because I think it's up here that and that where he's excelled. Because if you're not savvy up here, you don't know how to shield a ball, you don't know how to progress, you don't know how to your first touch. So it all comes from the top down, and it's amazing what I've been seeing of him. And he reminds me, not to dampen, not to piss on the bonfire, but he does remind me a lot of Frankie de Jong. Playing from deep, progressing with the ball, getting into attacking positions, shielding the ball, passing it so that others can create that kind of thing. I think he's an all-round player, and we have signed him cheap because that's my opinion. I mean, he's brilliant.
Well, look, I trust both you and Sean's footballing knowledge. Sean, you wanted to say something before I bring you in.
Yeah, of course. The other trump card, Chris, is the fact that we had in our back pocket we had Joe Rodon.
Yeah.
So if you take into account the money that Leeds are going to give us for Joe Rodon, he's even cheaper.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, when you're talking money side of things, which the green is always important, but yeah, we did a similar Maddison Winks. We've done an Archie Gray Rodon, which is also important. But regardless of Rodon, I think that of course it makes it cheaper because that's 30 million instead of 40 million. But this guy is going to be skyrocket expensive because he's just so versatile and makeshift centre back, makeshift right back, makeshift anything because as I said, he knows how to shield, he knows how to place his body. The body position is so important. your spatial awareness, which is what I think is most,
100%.
It's just he is very good, and I don't want to hype him up too much so that he lets us down. But this guy, I don't know whether he's going to be a 6 because we're not going to play with the 6. We're going to play with a rotating whatever needs must kind of thing. If Bissouma has to track back, if Benny has to track back, if he has to track back, if anybody has to track back to solve our defensive problems, which all came from midfield last season, in my opinion, this guy is going to bolster and he's going to shore up those defensive, what the modern day calls rest defense. That's something that's going to be very important. And this guy, I think, is going to deliver no problem whatsoever.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I had told myself on tonight's show that I wasn't going to shake my bum for nobody. I'm not going to have you lawyers try and persuade me otherwise. But I'm not going to lie. You and Sean have got onto a flying start. And then the unthinkables of thinkables is the Artilero in the chat. Anyone that's been in this chat long enough knows about Artilero and Artilero's antics in the chat has confirmed that Archie Gray is a fantastic talent, and then started waffling when he said that he would be snatched from our hands. Zeus, on that note, have they given you enough kind of ammunition? Because I was going to come and start slandering and saying, why is it that Brentford could offer 30 mil and then we got slapped with 40 mil? I mean, what's all that about? Do you know what I mean? Why are we paying more money for Archie Gray? But then Sean and Chris have put forward a very persuasive argument. And I just want to hear from here today. Are you confirming that Archie Gray? Are you confirming what the panelists are saying? Because he says here, Archie Gray, ambitious signing. And I wanted to say, is that a question mark or not? So, but I think here to there is kind of in agreement with this. Everyone seems to be wax lyrical. How are you feeling, Zeus?
I'm not. I don't like the ambiguity, man. Why are we still unsure where he's going to play? Is he a right back? Is he okay? So last season, people said, "Oh, we didn't have a specialist 6. That's what we were missing," etc., etc. And now we've got a midfielder who could be that. But to be fair, actually, I would prefer if it was coming in as a right back. I would like if they said, "Okay, this is a right back to understudy someone like Porro." And then, because I saw Emerson Royal was supposed to go to AC Milan, etc., etc. Yeah. But actually, I saw just maybe about 20 minutes ago that we're okay with keeping Royal. Like we're not going to let him go for cheaper or something like that. So we're okay with keeping him. So if we have another midfielder who is kind of like not a specialist, we've got Bentancur, we've got Bissouma, we've got Højbjerg, we've got Sarr. We have another one who is, can play 6 or an 8. I want, if you see some outgoings, maybe like Højbjerg goes or something like that. Maybe that's going to happen soon. But I need a bit more clarity in the side of where people are going to play. Like I kind of like, I'm a bit old school. Is like I like this guy's a number 10. That's what he's going to do. This guy's 8. That's what I like. Fixed positions. Kind of what's happening with England. Like, a lot of people are saying that right now they're missing a traditional left winger. Get Foden out of there. Get someone to play left wing. I kind of like that. That's me personally. And this Gray signing is giving me, some of he's versatile, yes. But last season, all we complained about is that we needed a 6. So where does D fit in? So I don't know, man. I would prefer if he comes in as a right back, but that would mean Royal would have to leave. But if not, like it's just, I don't know, man. It's giving me a bit of a Brennan Johnson kind of vibe. We're dropping 40 or so million for someone to come in and maybe learn his trade. And I don't know. I'm not. Maybe some outgoings happen, and then I'm fully in love with it. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, Zeus here today is just made this comment in direct response to you. What do you say? What say you in relation to this?
I mean, I'm done with like future. Oh, this one's for the future. Blah blah blah. Sessegnon came in. He was supposed to change the game, and that didn't work out, right? Like we complained. Everyone complained. Oh, last season we need a left winger. We need a specialist 6. Blah blah blah. Bissouma is off the board. Blah, blah. That's what I don't like to waffle. That's what I said I wanted. I want a specialist 6. I want a specialist left winger / forward type player, and I think a center back, like on the second team kind of thing. So they got a generational talent. If that, and I think it's going to limit from those other moves that I think are necessary. So I'm not. This is not the first signing I'd love to have seen. I'd love to have seen like the specialist 6 or a specialist left winger first, and then maybe you start thinking about something. I get it. Yeah, you take what you can, kind of thing. But there's still some other holes that need to be filled.
Okay. Well, let me throw this, because Arthur, our boy Arthur was unable to make tonight's show, so he sent me this little message, and then we'll get into it. And I just want to hear your thoughts on this. He said, "You can really see what Ange and Lange are trying to do. These are perfect players for Ange. Young, very fit, very smart, very motivated, who have them playing Ange ball in no time." Sean, that's almost kind of similar to what you were saying to me earlier today. Can you just expand on that? What is it that you, Chris, and Arthur is seeing as to why the Spurs fan base? Because you guys didn't conversate, but you were saying the same things. I'm pretty sure you and Chris haven't had that conversation either. But you've come on and you've just seen this bright light. Now, look, I love our club. I'm wanting to, maybe I'm too stubborn, maybe like Zeus. Maybe I'm wanting to see a big name signing like a Tony or an Eze just to kind of, wet the palate a little bit. And I'm not saying Archie Gray is not a big signing. I mean, he sounds like a credible player, someone that can come in. But I'm just thinking at the moment, I kind of need more from our club. But you guys seem to think that we're going down this young, fit, motivated. Sean, do you want to expand on that more?
Yeah, a key element to Ange's system is that the players need to be coachable. And the problem is, if you're going for an established name, you're going for a big, a person who's, a bit older, they get stuck in their ways. They get stuck in their ways. Whereas these young players can be molded and made to fit the system. When look at, if you look at the age profile of our team now, it's unbelievable. And look at, we had Mickey van der Ven, Mickey van der who, like a year ago today. And look at him now, we wouldn't swap him for anyone. We wouldn't swap him for anyone. And he turned up with 2 days' notice.
Yeah.
Slotted straight in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These young players, once you give them a license, and this is the good thing about Ange, he says, be brave. This is what Pochettino said. And I keep going back to this thing. Since November 2019, this club has lurched from crisis to crisis to crisis. A win now, coach. This player there, this player there. We finished up with a mismatch of a squad that don't fit his system. Ange has made do for a year, and now he knows that player's not good for me. He's gone. That player's not going to work for me. He's gone. I like the look of that player. Let me speak to him. You know what I mean? And I think this is it. The younger they are, the more coachable. They're not fit. They're not set in their ways, and they can fit into his system. And I think, I know it's going to be a sacrilege to some, but I think Archie Gray could be even more important than, say, an Eze. Wow.
That's a big statement, Sean. That's a massive statement, Sean. I don't even know how I feel about that. But look, I guess for me, you can probably tell, and I'll own up, I haven't watched enough of Archie Gray's games to be able to shake my bum violently. But the little clips I saw, it looked good. It looked all right, but not much more than what we have. But you guys are the football analysis. You guys have dug in deep. I've got 2 questions for you, Chris. Are you backing what Sean has just said in terms of Ange's building this kind of young? Because I like the idea of young, but there's also a thing of, is it too young? Maybe we've gone too far left, and maybe we're going to lack a little bit of experience in the squad. Because if we take out the Højbjergs of this world, the Emerson Royals, we're taking out some of the older players. Son as well will probably be the oldest one, and then we've just got a bunch of younglings. That could also have an impact. And then you know what? Let me just get you to answer that question. But I did have another thing I wanted to ask.
Sure.
And also, do you see him starting?
Yes, I do see him starting. but that will depend on how things progress, how training goes. If the squad is bolstered by other players that we might need in the mid, or the right back, as Zeus was correctly saying, is Emerson leaving? Is he staying? Can Archie be a midfielder? And that can slot into right back when we need him. Yes, he can, because he's proved that. And I think that he's ready to play in the Prem. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. But there was something I just wanted to pick up regarding what Zeus says. The fact that we don't know where he's going to play because he was a right back, he was a midfielder, etc., etc. I think that it's logical that we don't know. And we have that uncertainty as to where he's going to play. But I think that the manager and his staff and everybody knows exactly what they want from this kid, and why they just spent 40 smackaroonies on him. Because if he wasn't worth it, they wouldn't pay it. And it's not just to have him for a couple of seasons, make him better and sell him on for 60 or for 27. We know what we like. But I think that they already know. Now I think that continuing on from what we know about him historically regarding his family, right? He comes from a footballing tradition, right? Family tradition, yeah. They got heritage, right? And when you're around that, you're breathing that in, day out, right? So for me, okay, there are quite a few aspects. And I'm going to take about 2-3 minutes. So you've got chronological age, talking about his age. You've got chronological age, which is the date, his age from birth. So he's 17, just turned 18, whatever he's, happy birthday. Sorry, didn't get you anything. But then you've got relative age, which is your age up here, right? Which I was talking about earlier. What you can do with this makes absolutely no difference to what date you've got on your passport, right? And he is older than what he, right? Playing as a player, he's older than what he is a kid, right? So then you've got like 3 factors that are extremely important to transition from, say, youth, because he would be classed as youth kind of thing, like youth, under 21s, under whatever, to elite. So you've got personality, right? He's got that because he's bred from a footballing family. If he's been breathing that in from his father, from wherever, from that's heritage. He's got that heritage built in.
Yeah.
Can he perform? Right. So performance is the second one. So his psychological skills, his coordination, his technical and tactical abilities, they're all ticks. All of them are ticks. All of them are 100%. Yeah, you've got it. Has he got a high ceiling? Of course. But from the start, yes, he has. Then you've got the mental and cognitive skills. He's definitely got that because we can see it on the pitch. And even though we don't go up to Leeds, every other weekend to see his games, from video, from his analysis, you can see that he's got it. So those 3 things: personality, performance, and social, which is his family, etc. All these 3 things that are very important. He ticks the boxes on all of them, apart from the fact that he's a baller. He can play football. So I mean, that makes me think that he's going to start because he can do everything in midfield. So when one link fails at getting back, losing the ball, regaining after a loss, he can track back and do that. We don't want to put all the team's future and possible trophy, winnings or wins on his back. But he's the kind of player that Langer and Ange are looking for, So I'm extremely excited about this guy. And contrary to what Zeus was saying, what I said before, we don't know where he's going to play, which is correct. We don't know where he's going to play. They already do, but I'm excited to see where he's going to play. Yeah. So you know what I mean? That's my take on it. I mean, I can see him starting, no problem.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, Chris, is that this background, this as you say, this storied family that he comes from, that's sweet music to Ange. Ange loves that. He likes that kind of level-headed thing. He's not the kids. You can see he is a kid, and he's going to make mistakes, and there'll be, but as you say, his ceiling is so high. Yeah. He's got all the things that Chris has just outlined, but he's got the potential for growth.
Yeah.
And that really, that really resonates with Ange as well.
That's frightening. That's frightening if this guy can grow, because
I
if
mean-
he's got it already, at this age, and only playing in the Championship with people, those that like football, and I respect football. I don't care if you're, fifth division. You've got to be there. You've got to do it, right? And you've got to do it consistently. This guy's been doing it consistently in Championship, and he can play various roles at such a young age. Well, that's down to Farke as well, his manager up at Leeds, but it's down to him as well because he's got it.
Yeah.
People wouldn't be playing if they haven't got it, which is why, unfortunately, Mikey Moore isn't playing. That's why Donny isn't playing. That's why, Lancashire's not playing. Unfortunately, can they get there? Of course they can get there, but it's not just as simple as he's a Spurs player. We love him. Well, we love all of them. They got to play yes or yes. Maybe they don't have it at the elite level. They don't cut the cloth at that age, even though they're maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years older or similar age. If they haven't got it, because it's the package.
No, I get that.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get
that's football. It's not.
No, I get.
Block,
Yeah, no, 100%. I think you're totally right, and that's why, Chris. I wanted to get that kind of analysis from yourself. There's more to the game than just what we see on the surface, and you're touching on all the salient points, and and I'm in agreement, and I'm being persuasive. I guess for me, the issue that I'm having, someone put it up in the chat just now. He said he doesn't think I'm buying it. It's not a case that I'm not buying it, but I do have. There is an expectation that I want, and I guess for me, maybe rightly or wrongly, I keep thinking about Tottenham need to finish top 4. I've just bet this greasy Don fella, Chelsea guy, who's completely delusional, 100 quid that Spurs would finish above Chelsea this season, and I'm needing my club to bring in the powers. Now, here to there, I'm going to throw this question to you, Zeus. Throw it back, and then I want us to talk about Paul O'Keefe. Has come out this evening. He was asked a question about Dewey and Neto. And the question was, can Spurs get both of these players? And Paul O'Keefe said, of course. Mate, if we bring in Pedro Neto, mate, I will shake my bum violently on this channel after the England game this weekend. It will be absolutely disgraced. My channel will be banned and I wouldn't give a damn. But question here to there says, gents, would you prefer signings to solidify top 4 and properly compete in Europa Champions League right now, or to compete in the Champions League right now, or this youth 3 to 5 year plan? Now, anyone who's known me well enough will know that the Ange plan is the season 27-28, we win the league. I'm happy if you guys are telling me that with this plan that you can see is going to give us a Premier League title in 4 seasons' time, then I am game. Let's go blindly. I will walk into the darkness with you. However, part of me, and I think what Zeus is trying to say is he's trying to get to the promised land now. He's trying to see Champions League football now, and I'm just not sure. I mean, Illmatic says that Archie Gray was brought into the main team under Bielsa, and we know what we think of Bielsa. We love the fella. He brought Archie Gray into the squad at 15. Thank you, Illmatic, for that. Zeus, with everything you've heard so far, you must have been persuaded. Are you prepared now to give the time it takes? Maybe 3 to 5 years is the plan. I'm saying 4 seasons. We could win the league if we look ahead. Or are you saying you're not convinced and it's Champions League or bust for Ange?
Actually, I want to take it back to another comment that Here Today made. He said, you actually pinned it. He said, Archie is much more highly regarded than Brennan, but understood, Zeus, you want to win now. And I want to win now, but winning now for me is not top 4. Winning now is a trophy. So we're in 3 winnable competitions: Europa, FA Cup, Carling Cup. We need to win one of these to be considered a success. If not, Ange should get the chop. I'm saying it like right now, like ASAP, man. Last season, I was like, yeah, 8th, cool. But, the progress that we need to, like, start treating Spurs like a big club. Like, we need to start winning. No more lollygagging, top 4, nice. We've done that. We've been to the Champions League and been booted out. I mean, we got to the final and all that a few years ago. But, winning that is going to take some more time. But now, win now. We know what Ange needs based on last season, specialist 6, left winger. Dewey and Neto, those are good shouts. But for me, last season, I just wanted a manager that had some wits around him, and clearly he has that. Now the pressure is on. We need a trophy to get into the habit of winning. Like, top 4, been there, done that. I don't know. We go into that competition when that's not success. A trophy should be the marker for success. Going on, like, henceforth out 3 to 5 years. I don't. Nah. It's got to be my progression was you come in, have a good manager, prove himself that yes, he knows what he's doing. Next season, trophy. Next season, title, like big boy trophy, I say. So next, not this season, but the one after.
So you wouldn't accept a Carabao Cup if he took a Carabao Cup?
Now, yeah, I would take that this season for sure. Like I said, Europa, FA, Carabao, Carling, whatever you want to call it. After the big boy trophies, which is Champions League or the league. And I think we need to build that, instill that in the club. Like, top 4 is not enough. Like, you don't want to be, Manchester United are losing their minds re-signing Ten Hag over just an FA Cup. But we need to start putting pressure on these guys to start acting like the big boys and the Liverpools and the Man Cities, that kind of thing. That's where I'm at with this.
Yeah. No, I kind of I hear you and I agree, and that's why we're having this debate tonight. And Greek football maestro Stelios Army says that I thought you had high standards. I do. Nothing's changed, mate. For me, nothing has changed. This is the start. It's not the end of the transfer window. I'm still expecting a statement signing from my club. I still think Tottenham can bring in Eze and Tony, and then all of a sudden, our window doesn't seem so bad. Name me a team in the Prem that's had a better summer transfer window than Spurs so far. No one. So do you know what I'm saying? Not Arsenal, not anyone. Okay, all right. Man City brought in that Savio kid or whatever. He's meant to be a baller. Me, I don't mind this Archie Gray. If Chris and Sean is right, that's only going to benefit our club. And I guess for me, I'm happy to be proved wrong. If it's another Van der Ven, another Udogie, in the making, fantastic. Especially with Sean's he could be this false number 6 because Basuma weren't cutting the mustard. And I've been seeing Basuma chilling with Pharrell Williams at the Louis Vuitton show. So I've got no hope for Basuma this season when I see this guy is more interested.
Deji, I have to say something there because I'm all over that brother's Instagram saying, get back to football, get away from the fashion.
It's too much,
honestly.
He's got jackets that don't fit.
Oh my God. And it's like, what are you doing? You're only getting the invites because you're a footballer, but you're neglecting your football.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Oh man, I look at Delhi training, trying to get a contract. I look at, Madison trading with Morgan Gibbs White before pre-season starts.
Yeah.
These guys, they've got it here.
No, for real.
I'm sorry, I had to jump in.
No, for real. I'm just picking up on some of the comments in the chat. Ilmatic says we'll know over time. He said any player that Dortmund has come in for, Dortmund know their ballers. Look, like I said, I'm not knocking it one bit. I'm just hoping that Chris and Sean are right. If they're right for our club, then it's fantastic. But if I'm not going to lie to you, I think you can kind of tell I am slightly underwhelmed with Werner and Archie. I've got nothing on Archie. I'm just not seeing the je ne sais quoi just yet. But that could just be me and not having great football knowledge. Marcel says, Deji, where are the ballers you said you were signing? My answer to you, Marcel, is what is the date today? It's Independence Day in the US, mate. Right? Meaning we still got 8 weeks to go before the transfer window ends. P. White says, Deji wants quality. I do. I want a name signing. I want someone who's going to put fear in the opposition. And the yardstick's got to be when Arsenal brought in Shiver Me Timbers, I weren't bothered. When they brought in Marquinhos, I was like, this is rubbish. I mean, Arsenal fans tried to sell us Kivior. Archie, I'm not saying anything, but what I'm trying to say is when they, you know, if it walks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, it probably is a duck. Archie Gray, on the other hand, I know he's a baller. I just hope he can make the step up at our club. It's easier said than done. And Artilero, I did say it, you heard it here. Did I stutter? Spurs to win the Premier League 27-28 season. So clip it, do all that shaking of bums. Look, Paul O'Keefe has come out to say, let's talk about some of the players we've been linked with. We've got this Dewey kid, French kid, looks like a baller, Chris. We've got Pedro Neto. We've got the Ezes. We've got the Tonys. With what you've seen so far, Sean, be ready, because you seem to know where we're going with this kind of young gen. Because people are shaking their bums for Bergvall, and I keep trying to remind people he's coming from the Swedish league. No disrespect, but I'm just not sure whether the Swedish league is in the top 10 leagues in world football. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not trying to be Mr. Negative tonight, but I am just putting it out there. I'm not sure that this guy's going to light up our midfield. And also, where does he play in this squad? Chris, what you're seeing, who we're linked with, what is making more sense? What is making sense to you? Give the Spurs fans, because everyone locked in, locked on, big up to everyone locked in, locked on. We want some clarity, which is what Zeus is saying. You've got some clarity. Sean's got some clarity. But help us to see the bigger picture. Who else fits in this puzzle for us to start shaking our bums violently?
Right. Well, when you talk about Douay, anybody's seen him, because honestly, I always say, what I don't know, I can't talk about, right? And I'm not going to come on here. I'm not going to go on my channel. I'm not going to go anywhere claiming to know everything. I don't. I haven't seen him. I hadn't seen him before he was linked, right? Or his name popped up. Honestly, what I have seen of him, if I were blind, right, and someone told me, this guy can play on the left, this guy can play on the right, he's good at one-on-ones, he's very good with his feet, he can distribute, he can shoot, he can create, he can... I'm saying, right, well, how much is he? Because I want him now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. With all his attributes, right, you would want a player like that. What do you mean? He can play in the 10 as well. He's an attacking midfield. Oh, my God. Well, give him another 5 million. I mean, do you know what? Those kind of things get people off their seats. Football is meant to entertain, right? That primarily, unless other people have got other fetishes, but the sport is meant to entertain us because we're not on the pitch. So if I miss Gaza, I miss Hoddle, I miss Waddle, I miss, the get me off your seat players. And what I've seen from these youngsters, right, Douay being one of them, I think he's quite good. Whether he'll cut it at elite level, well, he is playing at, League One, right? But it's only League One. Yeah, but listen, we can go back to Marcello Lippi, right, at Juventus in the mid-90s when, right, and this is history, this is not me making stuff up, right, when he went to the 3rd division and the 2nd division and got players in to bolster his team, right? And I think Juve in the 90s was quite a pretty impressive team where everybody could play everywhere, and players like Tacchinardi, who was a defensive midfielder, played at right back, he played at centre half, played pretty much everywhere. Yeah. So regardless of them being lesser leagues, which is like, for example, what you were saying, Deji, about the Swedish league, if you're old enough, it doesn't matter if your age, right? If you're good enough, you're going to play. Then it's up to you to be able to take on what the manager is expecting of you, tactics, all these kind of things, blah, 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 blah. But if they weren't linked, if they weren't, do you know what I mean? If they weren't being taken into consideration by our club and others as well, it would just be hot air again, right? So I don't like this concept. I respect everybody, of course. I don't care if people respect me, not interested. But my outlook is, if you're good enough, it doesn't matter how old you are, you will play. And if the manager wants you and sees that you are good enough for what his vision of the game has to be, right? Then Doué will be a player. Tony will be a player. Bergvall will be a starting 11. It all depends on what the manager wants. And I mean, it really is semantics at the end of the day. It really is, because we're nobody to, you know what? We're here to give our opinions about what we'd like and what we don't like and what we'd like to see. And yeah, I'd like to see Van Basten come back at 60 years old and score 40 goals, but that's not happening. You know what I mean? So it's just, I just like to be a realist about it and not, if Bergvall I don't know about enough.
I guess what I'm trying to say, Chris, and I hear you, and I totally agree, and I'm not trying to put down on it, because I love our club, and Sean, I'm coming to you in a sec, but I want to go to Zeus first and then you, Sean, is that, people, our rival fans will criticize us and say, Tottenham always do the same old. You know the stories. We get trolled on it every time. I'm having to bash it left, right, and center. And I'm just, I guess I need to have more faith. Do you know what I mean? But people tell me that I've got blind faith in our club. Sometimes I just look at football just with my plain eyes, and I'm saying, okay, we said we're going to kick on. We said we're going to get this brother. Postecoglou said we're going to be challenging this season, and that's what Zeus is going back to. And I'm not seeing it. Just like Arsenal fans couldn't see the Havertz connection, I'm still unsure about Havertz, to be honest with you, whether he smashed it for Arsenal or whether they were just that good that even Dusty Havertz could score a goal. I think if I was playing for Arsenal, I would have hit bloody more than 15 goals this season, because it was that bloody simple with the way they were sourcing. So I guess that's where it's coming from. So I agree. We're unsure. I'm hoping Postecoglou is the genius we believe him to be. But I'm not going to lie. When I look back at it, we've got people like the Greek football maestro shaking his bum. And I take issue with this statement. Sorry to hinder your party this season. Man United, Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa, Brighton would be so strong. So even top 5 would be a struggle with these players. Now, I think there's only 2 teams that the Greek could have mentioned. Newcastle, I respect them. Villa, I respect them. Man United is dusty. So don't be chatting about Man United, yeah? They're crap. Chelsea is fully dusty. And Brighton, they don't have De Zerbi. Don't even mention them. But I do think he has an argument in relation to Newcastle and Villa. So this is already coming for opposition fans. That's already from 3 signings what they're starting to even question. And I know we're not here to appease our rival fans, but man can't help but say I'm on shaky ground until maybe we start the pre-season games. But before I bring Zeus, I don't know, Chris, do you want to come back on that, Zeus? And then Sean, I'm coming to you because I know you've been you're biting your lips there. I can see it. I know you want to say, so I deliberately left you last. Chris,
I don't care about other teams, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't care about other fan bases. Well, I respect everybody. I'd love everybody to come on the channel, for example. That's why it's there. Not just Spurs, not just but to be honest, the banter is just banter. Yeah. Because I really couldn't care. It's like like today in Spain, right? Just before I came on, they were talking about Saliba to Madrid, right? That's he's linked to Madrid. Well, what if I just said that in jest and it wasn't true? They wouldn't care what I said. Do you know what I mean? They're like, Dusty Spurs fan, he's trying to because he can't get, you can't get bloody what's his name, whoever down the road to play for you. So you want to take aim at us and our best player in defence, Saliba's going up Madrid. Whoa. Do they care about what I think? I don't care about anyone else. You know what I mean in that sense. So banter is banter. It's great, it's fun, but I don't care about whether we get Doué, Bergvall, and whoever blah blah blah, who nobody's heard of, because at the end of the day, it's our manager that wants it, and it's Langer that wants them, and they're the ones that are parapeting everything so that our team progresses. and it doesn't make a difference what I want, what Arsenal want, or what they want to laugh about. Couldn't give two monkeys. So, because I see football differently, I just see football as something real and not just something. I'm sorry. That's just. It doesn't mean I'm right.
No.
It just means that I see it that way.
No, that's legit. I mean, in my kind of quick response to that would be, Saliba would be an interest to Real Madrid only because Real Madrid wasn't able to get our beloved Romero because Romero is got levels on Saliba, but that's another debate.
I get you.
Zeus and then Sean quickly, and then we're gonna just quickly touch on the Euros just briefly. But yeah,
is the question like what do rival fans care about?
Well, the question really is about people are talking about maybe we're underwhelmed. I'm talking about Berva. I'm talking about all of these players and what you're wanting to see. The question, the original question is, what are you wanting to see to make you feel a little bit better? To be honest,
I mean, outgoings actually. Like I want just a bit more clarity in terms of the structure of the squad. I would like to see some outgoings, like a fair bit of them, to be honest. I mean, Højbjerg has said he wants to leave. Lo Celso said he wants to leave. Our backup left back, I guess, is Ben Davies. I think we could upgrade there. Royal, him as well. So to me, having more outgoings gives a better clarity to the squad and room for incomings at the same time. So maybe we'll start to see some of those happen. I know, Royal, that's still situations in the balance. Richarlison, like I still think we can upgrade considerably. So some outgoings would just make incomings easier, I believe. So that would make make things easier. With that said, though, some of these guys, highly rated players. I mean, they're youngsters, but they could eventually be top talent. And Gray, for of course, ticks that box. So it's okay. It's just for my goal this season, which is to push on last season and improve the squad significantly. We still have a bit. There's some work that could be done there. Considerable work.
Fair play, Zeus. Sean.
Mm-hmm.
What is the bigger picture? What aren't we seeing? Who needs to come in to appease the Spurs fan base? Because I feel like the Spurs fans, I mean, we've got they're all here. Daryl Bradford, big up to you. Daryl Bradford says we ain't challenging without some experienced players. And then he's gone on to say, I support the kids' signings, but it's not enough. It is not enough. So he's feeling what I am feeling. I'm not saying I'm not happy. I'm just saying this can't be it. So I know, Sean, that you can't be satisfied with this. You can't be. So I need to know what needs to be added to make this all right, if that makes sense. Or you might think this is enough and that we just need to calm ourselves down and watch our beloved club during pre-season for us to see what you've been trying to say.
It's July the 4th, right? The window runs until August the 30th. We've got weeks yet. Let's not get our knickers in a twist, right?
Yeah.
We are going to lose players. We are going to recruit players. There's no doubt about it. And the coaches are reporting back for duty tomorrow.
Yeah.
The players turn up on Saturday for their testing to make sure, they're not like an Ndombele and have, got half a dozen Big Mac franchises down their gullets. So they'll be there for the testing, and on Sunday they start training. And until we get back into training, until we see what the recruitment is going to be like, you can't make a judgment. Yeah. But what I like the fact is that our recruitment appears to be grown up. It appears to be grown up. For too long, we've picked and cherry picked and tried to put it into, for this manager or that manager. We need to invest in this manager. The Combe boy down the end of the Seven Sisters Road, he's had 5 years. And he had a spawny FA Cup in his first season, and he's won what since?
Yeah.
Nothing. So don't let Arsenal wind you up. Yeah, they had a great season.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing today that they've signed that Calafiori.
Yeah.
Does that mean Saliba's head's been turned and he's off to Real Madrid? Who knows?
That would be funny.
Yeah.
And that would be an Arsenal thing to do, more Spursy than Spurs Arsenal to do that.
But it's so don't worry about them. Let's concentrate on ourselves. And I have faith in the grown-up recruitment we got in. We're using data, which we've never done. And why can't we have, that question that we originally started, are we for consolidation, Champions League, and or are we going for trophies? Why can't we have both? Why can't we have both? Let's see what happens come August the 17th, whatever. When it gets serious.
Yeah. Sean, I like that. Go on.
I'm not worried about Chelsea, Maresca. Big risk.
They're fully
Villa, they've had to do some very dodgy dealings to get around PSR, which they've done, and fair play to them, they've used their loopholes, even though it's against the spirit of the game. I'm not worried about them. I don't need a statement player. I mean, we had you could say Ndombele was a statement player. What a disaster that turned out to be. And this is it. People need to take into account we are correcting 4.5 years of nonsense that has gone on since Pochettino left. And I think we need to have a bit more of a level head and put our faith in the people at the head of the club.
For real.
In terms of recruitment.
I mean, look.
And remember, this is strictly for Chris, right?
Okay.
We now live in the era of Lamine Yamal.
Brilliant.
16 years old and tearing up an international tournament in Germany this summer.
What a player.
Well, that's just more proof. It doesn't matter what says on your passport where you're born. If you've got it, you've got it. And he's not the only one, because we signed Archie Gray. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, that's just more proof that you can do it. I mean, you want to talk about Mickey. Mickey came from Wolfsburg, right? He didn't come from he
didn't come from Dortmund. He didn't come,
He came from Wolfsburg, right?
Yeah.
And great club over in Germany. That's brilliant. But he was already playing kind of like a higher level than the Championship. Everybody was loving Mickey. Everybody. And loved him even more after this great season.
Yeah.
Okay. I know it's not. I don't like to compare, because comparisons are just, it's hot air as well. But he was someone that, we ended up absolutely adoring, and we wouldn't accept less than 100, 150 million for him if someone came in for him now. We'd tear the roof off. We'd tear the skywalk down. And we'd go and find Daniel where he's eating and stick a fork in his neck if we signed Mickey. So if we sold Mickey, do you know what I mean? So it to me, calamari. If it's true, I haven't seen it. I'm not gonna speculate on that. But if Arsenal have actually signed Calafiori, well done to them. They've got an absolutely brilliant player there. But why has he gone to Arsenal, not to other teams? Why hasn't he gone to Juve? Well, Juve couldn't pay him enough. Motta wanted him. Why didn't he come to Spurs? He's got Mickey van der Ven in front of him, and will he settle for left back in front of your doggy? I don't know. There's loads of games next season, but he's not going to become a bench warmer.
Your doggy would have started for Italy had he not been injured.
Yeah. So you'd have your doggy and you'd have Calafiori playing in the same team, which is completely, outstanding quality-wise. And you've got to put it all together, because names on paper are just names on paper.
Yeah.
If you want to know about that, ask what's his name, Moretti or whatever his name is, who used to be Inter president, owner, whatever he was, and in the 90s as well, signed all these brilliant, massive, wicked players. Paul Ince, he was there. Roberto Carlos did sod all, because names on paper don't make teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my take.
I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you. And, you know, John James is with you as well. He's like, look, let's just be patient. We'll be patient. We'll let these good players cook and we'll see what happens. And as for, you know, Calafuri or Calamari or whoever it is, Arsenal look like they've got a player. But, you know, the fact is we still got players levels on them. Do you know what I mean?
Why do they need a defender?
Because they're mad. I'm telling you, Arsenal is more Spursy than Spurs. They always bring in players they don't need. I've never seen that's they need a bloody striker and they're going in to get a young defender who probably doesn't start for them. Because does this young fella start ahead of Shivering Timbers if Timbers is fit?
Exactly. They're the best defence in the Premier League last season. What do they need another defender for?
Unless Gabriel Magalhaes is leaving, or he won't complain about sitting on the bench. But you know, Gabriel Magalhaes he's not a bad defender at all. But Calafiore, if he's been signed, he's going to be starting definitely. And a left back, who have they got? A left back, Kivior. Who else have they got? Like people that can't even pronounce their names.
Timber, they've got Tomiyasu. All of these guys are left back.
Yeah, but they're makeshift. This guy can actually do it. You know what I mean? And he can progress, and he can distribute. And do you know what I mean? This guy is pretty cool. Now, Arteta, I saw that he came out and said, if we go on stats over the last 12, 24 months, we should have won the league last season. Yeah, but the stats said that you got less points than the winner, right? Than the winner of the league. But and we know, and he said, and we know where we have to, you know, where we have to correct our errors. Yeah. Where if they're starting in defence, when Deji, you're saying that they need firepower up front, maybe they just they took the best of the moment of the market and offer him stupid money and got him in. And he doesn't really care about playing for Arsenal, Spurs, or you know.
Yeah, I just find it odd as a football club. You know, Arsenal probably more Spurs than Spurs, bringing in players that they don't need. I just think, like, for us, even at our club as well, you know, I'm wanting to see. Could you imagine if Spurs finished the summer transfer window and we don't have a number 9? It would be madness if we don't have a winger. You know what I mean?
You did say earlier in response to one of the comments in our great chat, and thank you all for being here as well. What date is it? What's the date today? It's July. Very, very early. And as Sean said that as well, it's so early. We've got the rest of July and the rest of August, right? And I mean, there's players that won't come in, obviously, that we've been linked with. And there's players that we haven't even heard of that are going to get you off your seat. And you thought, oh, actually, I didn't think about him. You know what I mean? So it's going to twist and turn, and it's going to do all these shapes, and people are going to, you know, go 3 nights without sleeping because Ange is rubbish and what's he doing signing this geezer? But at the end of the day, they've got a plan, they've got a vision, they know what they can do, and sometimes they don't get it because they're not going to meet the economics, you know, requirements of the club, of the seller. We don't want to go that high, etc., etc. That's fine, but I think it's going to, you know, chop and change, twist and turn until the end of August. So just, you know, take it day by day. It's all we can do, you know?
Yeah. Well, look, last 5 minutes. Thank you, Chris. Last 5 minutes. And I just want to quickly touch on this because Spurs this week have been heavily linked with the Canadian striker. What's his name?
Jonathan David, isn't it?
Jonathan David. That's it. Sorry, I had a little mental block. So, Zeus, I'm going to go in this order. You, Sean, and Chris. Jonathan David, he looks good. He looks all right. I mean, I was with Ashmatic from Spurs King TV. Big up to them. If you haven't liked and subscribed on their channel, this brother gave a really great breakdown on Openda, who I don't mind him. He looks like a decent player. But Jonathan David, good enough for our club? Zeus, should he be coming in? Is he the replacement to Harry Kane? Let's quickly touch on it before we wrap up. And if
not to replace him for Harry Kane, I'll tell you that.
Okay, maybe not a replacement for Kane, but can he do a job at our club? Can he bang 20 plus goals?
I don't think so. So far in this tournament, Canada has only scored 1 goal. I mean, they faced Argentina, which That's a tough
2-0.
one. So yeah, but still, from the game I saw, there was a game I forget. I think it was actually
Canada qualified having scored 1 goal because I swear they qualified from the
they did. They qualified to the next the knockout round, right? There you go, Dusty, England-esque,
Dusty.
the proper Dusty. So I actually watched more of them in the World Cup, and I think Alphonso Davies scored the only goal we scored there. And this some of the, it wasn't great, man. Not a lot. Okay, his record in Ligue 1 for Lille is it's decent, very very impressive, but I don't think he can do it in the Prem. It's not someone that you can rely on to. It's not a huge step up from Richarlison, right? That's what he's not to me. From what I've seen him and there's the other striker they have, Tejan Buchanan. He's injured right now. Some crazy misses, like just you see it and you're like, oh crap, that's why that's why we're pretty dusty as a national side. Like a lot of Alphonso Davies, sometimes he just looks miles ahead of all these other guys.
Yeah.
So Jonathan David, not better. Not even in someone like Tony. Tony's proven in the Prem. Even Richarlison, like I said, proven in the Prem. David is not, for at least the national games I've watched, he's not that world talent.
He's not that guy. Basically, he's not that guy. So we can bury those links to bed. We
don't want that. If we bring him in, I will be disappointed.
Oh crikey,
yeah,
mate. If we bring him in, it looks like I'm going to start supporting Yeovil Town at this rate because he's so
ye of little faith. Ye of little faith, mate. Come on.
It was getting the rumors were getting a bit too loud for my liking with this Jonathan David. So I needed to hear the confirmation that he's fully dusty and it's been confirmed.
Sorry to jump in, but he reminds me. There was a Nigerian guy who was tearing up the Belgian.
That one. Oh, not that one. Not the one that we were linked with in the summer. That one. I forgot his name. I know the one. His name is I know the one.
Orban.
Yeah. So he crazy numbers in the Belgian league, goes to Liga, doesn't do anything kind of thing. So that is kind of the vibes I'm getting with David as well.
Yeah, no, we don't
step up and then can't do it. He can't. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I'm looking at David's numbers now. Last 3 seasons in Ligue 1, 19 goals, 26 goals, 26 goals. They're not shabby numbers for a striker.
So Dowdo's numbers are pretty good.
But he's probably surrounded by better players at Lille than he is in Canada.
Yeah. True say.
And you're not saying that we haven't got good players. It's like Deji was going, where's the experience? He's I need experience. We've got the Korean captain.
Yeah.
We've got Vicario, who's number 2, the Italian. We've got a World Cup winning player who played in our centre of our defence.
Wait, remember
we've got experienced players around.
Yeah, but you know who had good numbers in another league, but was crap at Spurs? Soldado. So that's
but hold on a second. I need to push back on the shade on Soldado. Soldado has a lot of issues off the field. His wife lost a baby. He had loads of things went on off the field. He'd always played in a 2 up until he came to Spurs, and then AVB wanted him to play as a single striker. Soldado. I mean, he's had a great career. He's had a great career. It didn't work for us. And that's not. I don't put the blame on him. I put him. That he was part of that. Bail money, wasn't it?
And sometimes the shoe don't fit. The shoe don't fit. But who are you wanting to see up front? I mean, Sean's been doing a fantastic job. If you haven't started following Sean, make sure you follow Sean on Twitter. He's been posting players that Spurs need to be bringing in.
Hold on a second. I've got to push back on Deji as well, who was giving me Sesko. Did you see that miss the other day? 1-on-1 with the
he's fully dusty. To be fair,
Sesko, even Arsenal wouldn't go near him.
Sesko proved himself to be an Arsenal player in that regard, to be honest with you. He proved himself to be right perfect for
just what
Arsenal.
they need, just what they're looking for.
That's exactly what they need up top. I stand corrected, mate. Do you know what it is? Up front was so dusty from Arsenal that anyone that could just run just felt like a decent player.
And not fall over.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably why I went down that line. But no, big up. Who are you saying, Sean, quickly before we wrap up? I know you've identified some standout, but realistically,
I haven't looked at strikers. I've been mostly looking at midfielders. I really like that number 6 that played for
is it Georgia?
The Georgia number 6. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Really, really good, tenacious. Got stuck in
quite quick as well.
I think it's I don't know, striker wise. I just expect us to Ange will just pick out someone out of nowhere, and he'll talk to the team, and we might even have a complete left field player from some strange league.
I don't mind that.
Who knows?
I don't mind that. I
want Martin Chivers, but unfortunately he's 70 years old, so that's just my age,
Chris, what about you? Any player that you've seen? He could even be in La Liga that you think, no, Tottenham, come on, guys. This is really the person that we should be going for. Here to there, Arsenal fan trying to help us out. He's saying we should be going for the Nigerian striker, Boniface. Looked very good at Leverkusen, may I add. Bit of pace, bit of strength, can score goals. Is Boniface better than Tony? Is my question to here to there while Chris gives us.
Are you going to leave Leverkusen?
He's not even the best at Leverkusen. So, I mean, he's got a lot. He's got a ceiling on him. But I think wherever he was before that, I don't know whether he was in the Swiss league or wherever he came from. Boniface, he did quite good. And Leverkusen are not the kind of club to just buy anything. They are a serious club, although they haven't been winning anything of late. But not league-wise, I'm talking about anything else. But they are a serious club, and I don't think they just sign him just for the sake of signing him. I don't think that he's, what we need up front. Sesko was okay. Moving on. I think Tony for me ticks all the boxes. Like skill-wise, like he's got tech, right? Yeah. He falls deep to be able to combine with other players. He can score from practically anywhere, more or less. And he's good at heading the ball. But his penalties are shabby. I don't like the penalty bollocks that he does. But anyway, that's just
he doesn't miss though, does he? He doesn't miss.
He might not miss, but it's just something about it. It's like, oh God. But anyway, but that doesn't mean that it's not good, right? It's just personal, quirk. I don't like it. I'd have Tony in a heartbeat because I think that we don't need like a target number 9 because we're not going to play that way. If we're going to keep on playing the way, and I think we will because Ange, he has his vision and that's great. I like Vlahovic. I like all these kind of players that can drop deep and can combine and can do stuff from outside the box. And when the through pass is not available, they just stick it top bins. Yeah. It's just something that they've got inherent in them that they can just score a goal out of nothing. And I think Tony is that kind of player. The only 2 issues I have with Tony is off the field. Not me personally, but I think that Ange will take that into consideration because he wants players that are 167% focused. Yeah. Now, whether Tony, and I hope Tony's got over that hurdle that he's had to jump. And if he has, the only thing that perhaps is keeping me a bit back is his age. I mean, he's not old, but do you know what I mean? We're not going to have him for another 5 years until he's 33. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's not going to be able to keep up with that pace for another 3 seasons. If because it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy playing the low block. It's not going to be easy dropping deep. It's not going to be easy. And I'm not just talking physically, I'm talking mentally, right? Because mentally you have to be apt to be able to do these kind of, what Ange wants to play at, which is versatility, a lot of movement, a lot of players, chopping and changing, coming in from deep, unexpected, what I've seen at least from his good Celtic days, which we didn't have last season. But Tony, I like Tony. I think he's the most complete 9 that we could get.
Yeah, that's available.
With regard to the rest of the team, not just selfishly, just as a number 9.
Yeah.
He's not Harry, of course. He's not Harry, but he's. I'd have him over Solanke. I'd have him over.
I don't want to see Solanke at our club.
No,
I don't want to see Moses Kiptanui at our club either.
Who's Moses Kiptanui, man?
Conor Gallagher. I do not want to see Gallagher at our club either, man.
I just don't know. He's a Chelsea fan from young, and
I mean, honestly, the Conor Gallagher link. I mean, we keep hearing Ange really likes him, but I mean, Ange was in the studio for one of those England games, and he saw it,
first hand.
He stamped the place out. I'm hoping he did.
That's what I'm saying.
He's gone back to Jonathan Land and said, take him off the list. You know,
take him off. He's dusty.
I think that if anybody can change, if anybody can turn a Chelsea fan like Gallagher into a Spurs fan, right, and get a tattoo on his left calf of the cockerel or of a cock or a ball, I don't care either one of the two. I think it's Ange, because Ange has got away with people, and I think that he can convert even the staunchest Chelsea player or Chelsea fan into a Spurs fan, because he just got away. But I don't see Gallagher being anywhere near Spurs. I just can't see it. I just don't know.
I think he's going to see out his contract. He's going to see out his contract, and then he's got his choice next summer.
Yeah,
he can go to Millwall after that. Yeah, he can do what he wants.
He can go somewhere. He can go somewhere but our club. No, gentlemen, thank you so much. We've done an hour, 10 minutes. It's been a pleasure dissecting our club. We've got a signing though. It's good. At least we've got a signing. Archie Gray, football heritage, football pedigree. I think Spurs fans, if you haven't been shaking your bum based on Christian Shawn tonight, you should be bending over and shaking it violently. As for Zeus is going to be staying on the fence on this one until he sees some more signings. As for me, I want to be excited, and I think I will be, but I want to see some more players come in. But thank you for locking in. Thank you for being with us. It's been difficult because these Euros have been dustier than Tutankhamun. The England game against Slovakia on the weekend was so dusty, I thought I'd never stream again, to be honest with you. Bring back the Premier League, because crikey, I'm not going to lie to you. I see other people streaming these Euros, and they're lying to themselves that they're enjoying the games. These games are dry and dusty. I can't wait.
And it's got worse as the tournament's got on. Some of the group games were good.
The only decent team, the only team I actually enjoyed watching the other day was Spain.
Yeah.
Because even this whole Ronaldo show at Portugal is pissing me off. He's got to take every corner. He's got to take every free kick, every bloody pen. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Share the love. It's a country. Not one person can represent the whole country, man.
Talking about Spain, have you got 2 minutes to talk about Spain link with Spurs? You know what? Can I do that just for a second?
Yeah. Okay. Are you saying we're going to get Nico Williams? Because that would be mad.
No, what I'm saying is that no, we're not going to get Nico Williams.
No.
And you can just kick me out if you want, but there's the reasons behind it. Yeah. And the reason coming out is this afternoon in Spain is not to do with Nico. It's to do with Jadon Philogene, right? Because Jadon Philogene is on Barcelona's books, or was, until his agent or his intermediary, whatever, gave some words of unfortunate condolences regarding Nico and Spurs. You think, where's the link? Well, the link is Philogene was on Barcelona's books. We wanted to sign him, etc., etc. But Philogene only wants to play in the Premier League, and he's called Berto Camacho, which is his agent's name, and he said that the reason why is, one, he wants to play in the Premier League, and two, he's Barcelona #1 target is Nico Williams, and that is going to happen more sooner than later. If Barcelona can balance the books, which is a few days down the road, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, the only reason why Nico would not come to Spurs or Barcelona is because he wants to stay another year to play in Europe with his brother. But that is totally away from signing for Spurs. So that's just not going to happen. It's either Barcelona stay in Bilbao for another season, or Barcelona the season after that. But it's not going to happen. Spurs are not going to see Nico Williams.
I hope he stays. Bilbao's my team in Spain, and I hope he stays there another season and plays with his brother, because they're qualified for the Champions League.
Yeah. Sean, are we still going? We're going Bilbao for the.
We're going to Bilbao for the final. Yeah, definitely.
For the finals. Yeah.
You're opening the quadruples on, Deji. The quadruples on. All
right, now fair play, Chris, on that one. So no Nico for our club. That's a damn shame.
Like it.
What a special talent. Literally the answer to our left-hand side problems. And with Son being 33 years old, I thought Eze was the answer, but really the answer is Nico Williams. What a player.
How old is he, Chris? Is he 21?
I'm not sure about his age, but he's not old.
I think he's 21, and like Lamine on the other wing at 16. Jeez,
it's crazy.
Yeah, the problem I see is Lewandowski, because he's like 36, and I don't know. It's not. We talk about underwhelming for Spurs and our transfer window. Up until now. But seeing Lewandowski at 36 for Barcelona, from what he did last season, half a season he played. He played the whole lot, but he was only there for half a season up here. It's just, I don't know. I'm scared. I really am scared. But it's what we can do, and that's it. I think we talked about Doué before. Not to prolong the show, but I think Doué is someone that will get us entertained and off our seats. And I can see that. I can see him down the left. I can see him. I can. If it's not Sonny, and if it's not Deji's man Werner, I think we've got quality up top.
Timo's getting a pre-season and he'll be a different player.
Mate, Timo Werner, mate. I've already told him. I already met him live and direct, and I told him to his face how feed is in. Do you know what I mean? Get out of my club. But look, on that note, Chris, big up to you. Sean, big up to you. Zeus, big up to you. Sean, anything happening on PR TV?
Yeah, I did a stream with them this afternoon, which was looking at Archie Gray. So if you want more Archie Gray talk, I did that this afternoon on PR TV Spurs. We're doing weekly. I think they're doing weekly shows. I'm off until August from there, but I will jump in on here because I always have fun. It's good to meet Zeus today. We've not spoke before, and I do like a transatlantic perspective on our club. Sorry.
That's right.
And yeah, it's good. It's good. So all good. I'll just look out for PRTV Spurs. Just subscribe and you'll get your notifications.
Big up, like and subscribe, Chris.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, and we'll see what's going on. Can't say much more than that. I want to get into stuff that has got nothing to do with football. So yeah, we'll see what's going on. And I'm always thankful for the invite from Deji, and from anyone that doesn't think I'm a raving lunatic. So brilliant.
Zeus, are you going to do a channel, or are you just gonna? What's going to happen? What's the plan, real quick, before we go? You're on mute, mate.
My bad. I might do some streaming soon, maybe like a couple weeks. Me and my friend are thinking about doing like a guys type of podcasts, like popular culture, video games, movies. I guess it's more like 80s, 90s stuff, to be honest, because that's the age that we're at. But it's kind of like I guess we're looking at it's like your favorite uncle that refused to grow up, kind of thing. So, yeah, exactly. You guys will fit right in, right?
Have it right. The 80s was the best decade on earth.
Yeah. No, it's more. Yeah, it's like older guys who are still trying to be, who still think they're cool, kind of thing. So,
Not like me. Yeah.
Well, I've got a special thing coming out, and that sounds amazing. So definitely send the invite on that, because one of my favorite movies in the 80s was The Goonies. So if you're having a conversation on The Goonies, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I don't know if this is the right demo, but Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F came out.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. That's okay. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds cool.
Somebody put a banana in my tailpipe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Big up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Great conversation, great talk as always. And Artillero says The Goonies very fitting, Deji. Thank you very much. Thank you. And big up to everyone. Thank you.
Hold on, Deji. Hold on. What about in steak with a buff?
Okay, Deji, where do you think Ange will get sacked? When he's not getting sacked next season, my bro. I've already told you this. I don't know why this is new trolling again. My manager
outrageous. Arteta gone by.
Postecoglou is going to show Arteta levels next season. We already know that. That we know.
Arteta will be out of Arsenal before Ange is out of Spurs.
100%. I'm ready to put a wager on
and
that.
That's not just banter. I think that Arteta's not going to be there forever. Ange has got another 3 years. We're trying to do things seriously, and Arteta and a lot of Arsenal fans respect everybody. I don't bash on anybody. I think that you're coming to your end of your tether with him, because that's what I've heard. That's not and it's like, you haven't done anything. I can't believe this, and another failed league, blah blah blah. So I think that Ange is going to be at Spurs in the next years, and Arteta won't be at Arsenal. Possibility. I don't know.
Me and Sean have a secret bet, which I'll disclose, that we think Arteta could be out before Christmas. So on that note, thank you very much, Artillero, and good night.
See ya.